On December 29, 1972, Eastern Airlines Flight 401 took off from New York City, embarking on what was supposed to be a routine journey. The Lockheed L-1011 TriStar, a state-of-the-art aircraft at the time, was bound for Miami. On board were 163 passengers and 13 crew members, all looking forward to reaching their destination. This was a routine flight with clear skies and calm conditions. Passengers settled in for the journey, some reading magazines, others using the tray tables for snacks or drinks. They anticipated the warm Florida weather, a welcome change from the chilly New York winter. Little did they know, tragedy awaited them in the dark skies above the Everglades, a place known for its beauty and mystery. The flight crew was experienced. Captain Robert Loft, First Officer Albert Stockstill, and Second Officer Donald Repo were highly regarded, each bringing a wealth of knowledge and expertise. They had a combined experience of over 40,000 flight hours, a testament to their skill and dedication. As the TriStar cruised south, everything seemed normal, with no signs of trouble. Passengers enjoyed in-flight entertainment and meals, unaware of the events that would soon unfold. The crew maintained contact with air traffic control, ensuring everything was on track. There was no indication of the impending disaster as the flight continued smoothly. The first sign of trouble appeared as Flight 401 approached Miami International Airport, ready to begin its descent. The crew received a notification, a small but critical alert. The landing gear indicator light was not illuminated, suggesting a potential issue. This meant the nose gear might not have locked into the down position, a situation that needed immediate attention. Though not an immediate emergency, it did require the crew's focus and action. The crew followed standard procedure, meticulously going through their checklists. They initiated a holding pattern to troubleshoot the issue, circling above the airport. This seemingly minor technical glitch would spiral into a series of errors, each compounding the last. These errors would lead to one of the deadliest aviation disasters in US history, a tragic event that would be remembered for years to come. The Everglades, known for their beauty and unforgiving terrain, would become the final resting place for many on board. This tragedy would change aviation safety forever, leading to new protocols and training to prevent such disasters in the future. The crew of Flight 401 faced a perplexing situation with the landing gear light. Their initial attempts to resolve the issue proved unsuccessful. The pilots decided to troubleshoot further. They requested permission from air traffic control to descend to a low altitude. This would allow them to visually inspect the landing gear. While descending, the crew became preoccupied with the landing gear problem. They engaged in a series of checks and procedures. The cockpit became a hub of intense activity. Discussions, cross-checks, and attempts to manually lower the gear consumed their attention. The pilots, focused on the task at hand, inadvertently made a critical error. Unbeknownst to them, the autopilot had disengaged. The subtle click of the system disengaging went unnoticed amidst the commotion. No warning sounded. The crew, their eyes glued to the landing gear indicators and procedures, remained oblivious to this crucial change in the aircraft's control. As the minutes ticked by, Flight 401 continued its descent. The once routine flight was now edging closer to disaster. The crew, consumed by the landing gear issue, failed to notice their altitude dropping at an alarming rate. The dark expanse of the Everglades loomed closer, hidden beneath the night sky. The autopilot's silent disengagement proved to be a pivotal moment in the unfolding tragedy of Flight 401. This seemingly minor event set off a chain reaction that would ultimately lead to disaster. With the aircraft no longer maintaining its assigned altitude, it began a slow and steady descent. The descent was so gradual that it went unnoticed by the crew, who were preoccupied with another issue. The crew, their attention consumed by the landing gear issue, remained unaware of the danger. They were so focused on troubleshooting the problem that they failed to monitor the aircraft's altitude. The cockpit voice recorder, a crucial piece of evidence in the subsequent investigation, captured the tense atmosphere. Every word, every sound painted a vivid picture of the crew's growing concern. The pilots' voices, a mixture of concern and determination, revealed their focus on resolving the landing gear problem. They were determined to fix the issue, unaware of the silent descent. They discussed procedures, checked circuit breakers, and attempted to manually lower the gear. Each step was methodical, but their focus was narrow. Amidst the flurry of activity, the crucial element of altitude awareness faded into the background. The crew's tunnel vision on the landing gear light overshadowed other critical flight parameters. No one noticed the altimeter readings steadily decreasing. The altimeter, a vital instrument, was ignored in the chaos. No one felt the subtle changes in pressure and pitch that typically accompany a descent. These changes, though slight, were telltale signs of the aircraft's gradual fall. The crew's fixation on the landing gear light had effectively blinded them to the other critical flight parameters. Their intense focus on one problem caused them to overlook the bigger picture. As Flight 401 descended further, the Ground Proximity Warning System, or GPWS, activated. This system was the last line of defense against an impending collision. This system, designed to alert pilots of an impending collision with the ground, sounded a series of whoop-whoop warnings in the cockpit. The alarms were loud and unmistakable. However, these warnings came too late. The descent had progressed too far for a quick recovery. The crew, startled by the sudden alarm, had precious few seconds to react. Their realization of the situation came in a moment of sheer panic, leaving them with no time to correct their course. Section 4, Crash into Darkness, the horrific impact and the fight for survival. The Everglades, a vast and unforgiving wilderness, awaited the doomed flight. The impact was catastrophic. The Lockheed TriStar, traveling at a significant speed, slammed into the swampy terrain. The force of the crash ripped the aircraft apart, scattering debris over a wide area. The darkness of the night was pierced by the horrifying sounds of the crash. Twisted metal, the stench of jet fuel, and the cries of survivors filled the air. The once pristine Everglades were now a scene of unimaginable destruction and despair. For those who survived the initial impact, a new struggle for survival began. The Everglades, known for their treacherous terrain and abundance of wildlife, posed significant challenges to the survivors. Injured and disoriented, they found themselves submerged in murky water, surrounded by debris and the wreckage of the aircraft. The threat of drowning, hypothermia, and encounters with alligators added to the horror of the situation. Amidst the chaos and darkness, acts of courage and selflessness emerged. Survivors helped each other, sharing pieces of wreckage for flotation and comfort. They clung to life, their will to survive, fueled by the hope of rescue. Section 5, a race against time, navigating the treacherous Everglades to reach survivors. The crash of Flight 401 triggered a massive rescue operation. The remote location, coupled with the challenging terrain of the Everglades, made the task daunting. Rescue teams faced a race against time, knowing that every minute counted for the survivors. First responders, navigating through dense vegetation and shallow water, relied on the faint sounds of cries for help and the flickering lights of the wreckage to guide them. Airboats, helicopters, and swamp buggies were deployed to access the crash site, their powerful engines battling against the unforgiving terrain. The rescue efforts were hampered by the darkness, the lack of visibility, and the disorientation caused by the vastness of the Everglades. Communication was difficult, and rescuers often had to rely on hand signals and shouts to coordinate their efforts. Despite the challenges, the rescuers pressed on, their determination fueled by the knowledge that lives hung in the balance. They worked tirelessly, pulling survivors from the wreckage, providing first aid, and transporting them to safety. Section 6. Piecing together the puzzle, the investigation, and the search for answers. As the rescue operation wound down, the focus shifted to understanding the cause of the crash. The initial chaos gave way to a methodical and detailed examination of every possible factor that could have contributed to the disaster. The National Transportation Safety Board, or NTSB, launched a thorough investigation, determined to uncover the factors that led to the tragedy of Flight 401. This involved a multidisciplinary team of experts, each bringing their specialized knowledge to the table. Investigators meticulously examined the wreckage, sifting through the debris for any clues that could shed light on the sequence of events leading up to the crash. They analyzed the cockpit voice recorder and flight data recorder, often referred to as the black boxes, which held crucial data about the flight's final moments. Additionally, they interviewed witnesses and air traffic controllers, gathering as much information as possible to piece together a comprehensive picture of what happened. They pieced together the sequence of events, looking for clues that would explain how a routine flight could end in such a catastrophic disaster. Every detail, no matter how small, was scrutinized. The investigation revealed that the primary cause of the crash was pilot error. This was a sobering realization, highlighting the human element in aviation safety. The crew's preoccupation with the landing gear light had led to a fatal loss of situational awareness. They became so focused on this one issue, they neglected other critical aspects of flight management. They had failed to notice the autopilot disengagement and the subsequent descent of the aircraft. This oversight proved to be catastrophic. The NTSB concluded that the crew's fixation on a single problem, combined with the lack of proper monitoring of flight instruments, had created a dangerous situation that could have been avoided with better situational awareness and resource management. This tragic event underscored the importance of comprehensive training and the need for pilots to be vigilant at all times. It was a stark reminder of how quickly things can go wrong when attention is diverted. The crash of Flight 401 highlighted the importance of cockpit resource management, emphasizing the need for effective communication and teamwork among the flight crew, and the need for pilots to maintain situational awareness at all times. This incident led to significant changes in training protocols, aiming to prevent such tragedies in the future.